is an experiment. I normally have never streamed the process of me um, transcribing music before. And that's typically because I don't think that I have a very efficient workflow for this yet. But I wanted to do this here. And if there are any musicians who also are in this process who see anything in here and think that I could be doing something better, I would love to know that. But I am not very proficient at all of this stuff. So I'll probably be doing a lot of things that don't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. So, anyways, what I wanted to do, and I'll just explain a little bit about this process is, as you probably have been aware if you've been paying attention to my channel, I have been kind of into the Kirby series for the past uh, few covers. I mean, it's not exactly the past few covers, but I've been into it, and I've been trying to prepare for essentially an album of Kirby covers, and I wanted to go along with a story. Now, if you've been in my Discord, and I see Madra Ellen is in the chat, so they know all about the troubles. The main challenge that I'm facing with Kirby is that Nintendo of America doesn't license a lot of Kirby music, and so for me to be able to release an album legitimately, I need to be able to license the music from Nintendo so that I can license it for sale. And America's copyright rules are such that it's really easy to license something if it has been released commercially in the United States first. But if it has not been released in the United States first, then you can't. It's very difficult. And so what I do is I go to, let me just open up VGMDB here. And what I do is I know that there is basically only one Kirby album that has ever been released in the United States, essentially. It's this Kirby's Dream Collection Special Edition compilation soundtrack. And this is pretty good in that it contains a series of Kirby tracks from several of the games. However, it was released in 2012, so any of the games that have been released after 2012 aren't going to be represented. And plus, it's only 1 to 2, 3 tracks from each game. So I obviously wanted to do some of my favorite covers have been Moonstruck Blossom and my Noble Haltman cover, but unfortunately, neither of those are available for licensing. And so I've been trying to figure out a way of like, how can I tell a consistent story about Kirby villains um, while using only what's available off of this album? And so I'm going to try some interesting things. So I'm going to be doing Marx's theme, of course. I just did Zero Two's battle. So if you haven't already checked it out, please go on my channel, check that out. I can use my DDD cover because the Masked King was on this album. And then I was thinking of these other themes, which should I pick? I would like to do Magalore's Crowned, but it is fairly difficult to play, so I'll have to figure out how I can approach that. I do want to address Haltman story-wise in the cover, but I can't do it directly. So what I'm going to do is, um, let me look at this. Factory investigation, studying the factory is on, and I believe lore-wise that I can pull in Haltman through that, even though he technically wasn't around for Kirby 64. And today, what I wanted to do was Drawcia Sorceress. And the reason I wanted to do this is because it seems very clear, and I investigated a little bit of this in my Moonstruck Blossom cover story, is that in the Kirby universe, there are a series of powerful objects that people, well, I mean, people is used very loosely, try to get for their own wishes or for their own purposes. And what usually always happens is that these objects overpower the user and corrupt them and take them over. And so you can see this when we get into Crowned. That's essentially what's happening when we're getting into Taranza's, I want to say the, okay, let me get back into this. Taranza Sectonia. Let me get my story straight because I already know there was an amazing mirror. So I want to make sure. I think that he got the mirror again, and it was like, why would you even do this? Like, yeah, right. Okay. Anyways, and so of course the amazing mirror like it gets its own little thing, and um, for Drawcia, she has a paintbrush, which then becomes the concept of canvas curse. But I wanted to kind of investigate, kind of from a universe perspective, what must that have felt like? What must that have been like to kind of experience this? And how would you explain it from a lore perspective? And so this is going to be an investigation of that. Anyway, so what I've done here is I've started a transcription of this. And what I wanted to do it was it's a very classical sounding piece. And so I wanted to do a classical sax quartet. Nothing really jazzy, but classical sax quartet. So I'm going to have to reach out to my contacts and see if they are ready to be very classical for this. And if you aren't already familiar with the piece, which you should, but if you aren't already familiar with the piece, I have it here. So essentially, hopefully, I don't get like a copyright notice for this, but I'm just going to play it just so that you know what we're going for. Okay, so that's a little bit of what we have here. And so as you can see, I've basically split this out into, we're going to have soprano. Maybe if I can't find a soprano player, then it'll be two altos. That's typically what they would replace with. And then we have an alto, tenor, and bari sax. So essentially what I've done is, and I don't know if this is the right way of transcribing, but I know that the main melody is going to be in the soprano. So I've kind of written that out for a certain amount. And then I'm going to kind of fill in the remaining pieces. I think that every musician kind of does this a little differently. So here's what we have so far with soprano leading the melody, and I haven't kind of written anything else. And then I just kind of started pinning in some of the alto pieces. And you can see like I didn't get very far in the alto, so that's where we're gonna go. So I'm sorry. I mean, I'm so glad that y'all joined. But transcribing music is probably not very glamorous. So I understand if some of you kind of come in and out as you wish, because it's not super glamorous. So what I do is I listen to the parts in the the actual song, and then I kind of think about like what do the notes need to be. I'm sure that like people who like know music theory would have like a better way of doing this, but unfortunately, I am not super great at that. So it's kind of learning it by ear and then kind of doing trial and error. So let's go from about around here. Da, 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 da. Okay. So then I can kind of I feel like that's definitely a wrong note. So, I mean, it would be too high for the alto, and I might need to, change the octaves on these anyway. But no big deal. So I'm gonna kind of go back to here. Oh. Okay, so let me see. I think like it starts off a little bit. Okay, so. Okay, so that seems about right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this entire part a little bit lower. So. And then you just see, it seems like I'm kind of jumping a little bit too much between this note and this note. So let me see what I need to do about that. Oh, so this gets that note, and then it kind of then like it sees like there's a kind of a gap between these. Okay. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And then let me see if there's actually have that repeating note or if it's just me. Do 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 do. Do do. Okay, and just to say for the people who are joining in right now, normally I try to cheat, and the way to cheat would be you do Kirby, Canvas, Curse, Drawcia, Sorceress, sheet music, and you just look for the results. Now, here's the reason I didn't do that, because there is someone who's done it, but it's like a piano arrangement. It's like, yeah, I could start with the piano arrangement, but like I didn't feel like doing that. And then this site jellynote.com is going to ask me if I want to turn off my ad blocking, and I'm like, I probably should, but no. Do I want to give it my location? I do not. And so for more popular music, or for music that's probably been covered a lot more. Oh, actually, it does show me now. But you see, like this, like, and then it asks me if I want to block the ad. So like, no, I don't. I mean, I do want to keep my ad blocker on. But like, for more popular music, like you can find stuff. And like, for example, I'll do, since I use MuseScore, I'll look up on MuseScore.com to find stuff. And if it's there, it'll usually pop up. So let me just kind of go to MuseScore.com. It's completely free. So I mean, I'm not getting paid or anything for this, although maybe I should try to be an affiliate or whatever. But it's a completely free, so there'd be nothing to get from this. But like, so I could do like Kirby, Drawcia, and see what other people have done. But I also like to change things up a little bit. So, there's no results there. But if, for example, I did 02, there was sheet music for 02. I don't know if I don't think I used it. I think I had something for my own, because I don't remember it being strings of voice. But okay, so anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of come back here. That would be the smart way of doing it if you can find it. But uh Stephen Morris is making fun of me for having short sleeve button down shirts, even though I recently trashed them. This is not legit. This is laundry day. That's what that means. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is also, when you saw the thumbnail for this, did it show my latest thumbnail, or did it show? Let me try to drag. I don't think I can drag Photoshop over. Um, I think that whenever I do live streams, it actually shows me. It actually shows an old thumbnail, which is kind of annoying. But if you saw the one with me with the clarinet and also sheet music and Drawcia, then that's right. If it didn't, then it's wrong. Anyway, so let me get back to this. Okay, so let me get back. I got my alt tabs all wrong. Okay. Browser, music. Browser, music. Browser, music. Browser, music. Okay, good. Okay, so and I'm so bad at this. I just have to guess at what it was. Okay, I think that's right. Okay. Okay, so this is it's kind of repeating, but it's rhythmically different, and it adds in the other parts, which I have some interesting things that I want to vary from the original for the tenor and bari sax. So it's going to be a little bit different, but I do want to kind of write out what it is first before I get into that. Okay, so uh so I do want to mention one thing on casual combos. uh YouTube's content ID is not smart enough to know my intention when I'm doing this. And so if it's going to do a content ID match or a copyright strike, it'll do that. And then I have to challenge that afterwards and then talk to some human by trying to, challenge that to try to get that. So, for a live stream, if that happened, I mean, it would be too late. It's just the live stream would be down or whatever. But they don't, live critique and live streaming, the systems aren't smart enough to understand fair use. So anyways, I digress. Now I've completely gotten my alt tabs wrong. Browser, music, browser, music, browser, music. Okay, got it. And browser. Da-da. I think it's the same. It might be the exact same. Da-da. It's exactly the same. Okay. Might be the exact same part. Look at me. Look at me. I just wrote like a bunch of these, and I can just write them all over again. I thought it was a little bit different. Did I mess that up? I think that's right. Okay, so let me just do this again. Oh. Okay, so this second part here does change a little bit. So then I want to come back up here. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Now I actually want to see if this is the same in the first time, because this has the repeated note here, but the first time I believe that it doesn't do that repeated note, but it's like exactly the same other than that. Nope, it's different. It does. It changes by one note. Sneaky fellows there. Sneaky fellows. Okay, so then let's gonna go. Okay, I need to get my rhythms right. That's a dotted half note. I need 3 beats there. That can be a dotted quarter note. D. Okay, let me pay attention to. I got 8 people watching me just painstakingly transcribe music. That's awesome. Okay, yeah, it's so difficult to talk to people because what people don't realize, and I go on the YouTube help forums all the time and try to explain this, is they think that like YouTube is going to be an arbiter of copyright. They think that if you get a copyright claim, that means that YouTube has vetted it, or that if you challenge a copyright claim, then YouTube kind of looks at both of them and says, "Oh, this is right, this is wrong." No, the way that copyright law works is it's between you and the copyright claimant, and YouTube as a a site that allows users to upload content gets a safe harbor by saying we're going to stay out of it, but what we'll do is if someone sends us a note, we will forward it on to you and let them do what they want. So there's kind of like YouTube benefits by essentially not having any say or editorial discretion in terms of copyright. And so you have to then say, who is this copyright claimant? How can I get in contact with them and then explain the case? Because otherwise, it's just a bunch of systems, automatically doing stuff according to a series of rules. Let's see. MuScore. MuScore is the best. Casual combos. And now, yeah. I mean, there's for pay options, but MuScore is the best that's for free. Um, DDD is indeed thick, and I feel like they are doing that on purpose. Okay, so um, yeah, casual combos. This is actually a good point. So, I went to Asiva Gunner's panel at Magfest, and they talked about using programs to rip the audio and separate into different channels, and I was like, that would be smart, but I'm not smart enough for that. So like I'll like look for a MIDI if the platform is old enough, and if there's no MIDI, then I just pretty much like I give up. I'm like, okay, I'll just do it by hand. But I do know that it's possible to rip a lot of these old file types. I don't think that it would work for this file type. I think Canvas Curse is late enough that they didn't have kind of MIDIs anymore. So Canvas Curse is Canvas Curse. I want to say DS. I do want to say that. But then I don't want to get wrong and be like Game Boy Advance. Yeah, DS. Yeah, because you did a draw with it. Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay. So now of course, since I had to look that up, even though I knew it logically, that has ruined my alt tabbing. Okay. Browser, music, browser music. Okay, good. Alt tab, guys. That's for like when you're at some place that you shouldn't be surfing Facebook, but you still want to surf Facebook. You just get your alt tab, and when someone comes by and like, what are you working on? Oops, I was working on the music. Yeah. So yeah, now we're getting to, I guess, um yeah, this is actually interesting because this part that I wrote for soprano is actually for alto, and it looks like the equivalent of the soprano would be to do nothing. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then there's a lower part here, but this lower part here would be basically the equivalent of what I need to write for my tenor. And of course, I can write these out and change these later, but whatever. Yeah, that da 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 da. Let me just copy this over, and then okay. I think it's like a whatever up. Okay, yeah, don't just copy parts. Actually pay attention to how accidentals work. I think that's a little off, though. Mm-hmm. 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 And I think this repeats. I mean, obviously that last part is gonna quite repeat like that. I didn't mean to change that note. And then there's going to be some tempo changes there. Let me go ahead and copy this down to alto and also change the octave. Okay, so I'm going to need to make tempo equal to wherever it goes, 120, same as, basically beginning, but then have this be like slow down. 110. 100. This is also another place where I'm sure like you wouldn't actually do this in like real music, because the real music isn't played on a MIDI, and so you just be like host. So let's see. Let me see if that's approximately right. Okay, so slowdown definitely happens a lot later. So let me do this. And the notes aren't quite right. 100. And then let's make this 90. Come on, 90. Oh man, it's because there's like the 3 different parts trying to get through that same piece here. So audio bank for the game. You know what? I don't even need this audio bank. I'm sure you're gonna like give it to me, and I'm gonna be like, oh, this would have been so much faster if I had this. But I'm going to, for my own sake of learning how to do this and having content to live stream, I'm gonna still do this like this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me save early, save often, guys. Save early, save often. Okay, so yeah, it's too tempting. It's too tempting. Maybe next time I'll ask. Okay, so there's this bass note, and I know that some people actually say, I know from asking this on Twitter, that they start with like the bass line and then they layer everything on top of it. And so I guess I did that like the wrong way, but I am gonna now come back to this berry part here. And I wanted to change this because when I have this in my head as a quartet, this part, I had some interesting things that I wanted to do in here. Let's begin here. Now that I've listened to the actual bass part, I'm like, I don't remember what I was gonna do. Okay. Yeah, and then all this whole like, oh, treble versus bass clef stuff. Like, no, don't even. Uh, wait. Mm, if I change this back to wait, if I made this concert, I don't want to look at the. I don't want to look at the. Yeah, A flat concert. Way to go. That's right on. But I don't speak in that language, so I'm gonna turn this back into E flat and B flat for sax. And this B flat stuff for soprano and tenor is like killing me. But transposing instruments, what can you do with them? So that doesn't quite sound like what I wanted to do. Let's see, in my head. If I do like this, then it's going to be the same notes and it's not going to be good. Now I'm doing the same notes here again. Writing different parts is difficult. Sometimes it can be good to have the same notes in different parts. It's just, it depends. Okay, what I want to do. Oh, it's a little off. I want to do that, but it's a little busy. I'll ask around if people think that's a little too busy, but I think it's workable. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. I'm too early. I'm too early for that. Okay. I need to write something that fits here. I will get now inspiration from the original. So if I want to just cheat, I could just write that. this is too close. This note is suspect to me. It's suspicious, but I will leave it in for now. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have this part happen the second time, but then have it start off boring. Yeah. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. That's interesting. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like four beats is like a whole note? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 eighths. Eighth note gets the beat. Eighth, quarter, dotted, half. Oh, half note. Oh, I guess it's only three. Yeah. Nailed it. Nailed math. 8 times 4. But not the right notes. Dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh, did I have that note wrong on both of them? was wrong on both of them. Was it wrong the first time? Okay, I think it's right. Okay. Okay, so back here. Nah, I want to make this like the reverse of the soprano part. So what I'm gonna do is have that. Okay. Now again, I'm gonna make it interesting the second time around. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then these can go back to being boring. 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 Okay. Okay, so then when we get the tenor part started. Oh gosh. Okay, so now I have all these rests. That's lame. Okay. Oops. Too much. There we go. Oh gosh, this is so difficult. Okay. Da, 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 da. I guess that was how it goes, and I was incorrect. Okay, so let me get this right. Okay, so uh, Okie dokie. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da. Oops, I need to have it in notation mode. Notation mode. It's delightfully busy. That's not right. That's not right. I think I like replicated the same part, which is not right, obviously. Now we're going into extreme cheating mode. 0.5 speed. Same part. Okay, let's get this back into normal. This is about right. It's the same part. Mhm. Well, well, well. So glad you like this theme. Thanks. I think that it should be possible to do this. I just need to spend more time with it. Very possible indeed. Mhm. Where did my notes go? Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Same notes. Can't do it. Mhm. Mm. It's actually the same, but I invented this part, so I just need to trust that I can invent this part. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ah, that's not right. It's not right. Not right. Not right. Okay, speed it down to 0.75. Okay, so casual combos. I see that you are back. I am now. Oops, I think I unplugged myself for a second. My headphones allow me to hear if I can hear myself. Anyways, I'm now trying to get the tenor sax part, and it's a little tricky, so I'm trying to slow it down to see if I can hear it right. I think I need an extra note there. I think I'm doing this a little too early. Same as the other part. I can't do it like that. Absolutely, the Blue Dud. There will be a sax story for this. Harmony is tough to hear, and it's all organ, so it's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so but I can figure it out. And I'm already making this up because I believe that what I am doing is alto and tenor is actually a unison part, and so I'm making up the tenor part. I think it's what it's doing is it's like it's doing one part and then it's switching over, and then one part and then switching over. So it's like. Yeah, so I'm trying to then have there be an alto and a tenor part for this first part, and then an alto and a tenor part for that second part. Whereas it looks like it's like a this kind of this dotted half note, and then it does the actual part. Question and answer style, exactly. So maybe I'll just have to not be that creative and go back to question and answer style. Okay. Okay, so I can actually know where this part is coming in and kind of figure out where this part needs to come in. That's early. Okay, so I can actually know. Okay, so I know. Okay. Boom! Nailed it. Okay, so then I think it's going to repeat. Okay, now this little grand part here is going to be the trickiest. Okay. Oh, man. I think I want to move that one up to here. And then, okay, and then this. It's not quite that. It is off. Well, a tad. The highest part here is really not a consistent note. It's just sliding on up, which I don't think it's even possible for an organ to do. The part I'm trying to replicate is that. It's like a slide. It's just like a what is this? It's not a. That's really what it is. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, I don't think it's quite right, but it is kind of the closest. I don't want to know the notes. If you can, send it to me, GA Spriggs at Twitter, and F and F flat. Well, okay, hold on. Am I gonna need to be able to go back into concert pitch? No, this doesn't work for me. F and F flat. This doesn't fit in any of my keys. Okay. Let me try to do the other parts, and then maybe we can figure this out together. Ooh, that's a switch. That jumps up a little bit. And that's actually should be the tenor part. Sorry. While I'm looking at it, in fact, yeah. Yeah. I'm switching between these. Now I'm jumping to, I guess, the lower part. I was trying to do the highest part first, and then I am now switching to kind of the lowest, part that kind of goes up like that. I do think it switches up to that accidental there. Well, the lowest part is just like a boom, and then it's like a yeah. So the lowest part is simple. It's gonna be I mean that's what that is. This is MuseScore deleting. This is MuseScore. It's free notation software. You can just type it in. You can add in any of your instruments, and it will export to MIDI. So I have a sax quartet, soprano, alto, tenor, sax, and bari, but I could do any instrument that I can think of, really. But this is what I'm comfortable with. Okay. Out of the scale. Wait, hold on. 4 parts in that last one starts with 2, then the third one joins in, then the fourth one is 1 note after the third. I'm trying to think about that. Hold on. Canvas Curse on Amazing Mirror is your first and second game. Cool. Cool. I'm so old school. Like, I think SNES, then N64, and then DS was probably my last console handheld that I had, and then everything that's after that is like just watch people play Let's Plays. Yeah. Okay, let me get back to this. It does definitely switch up there. Okay. And this is going to be not at 90. It's going to be at 40. Get that. Okay. Good night. Don't look at my profile picture. Hey, Instant Trade. You are watching me struggle mightily with this these converting organ to sax quartet. I don't think this was ever designed to be like this. My goodness, there's a third part, and I can't really tell which part it's supposed to go with. And this is another thing. If you know chords, you'd be like, oh, this is this kind of chord. Just write it like that, and just write it all the way up. But I'm like, let's figure out every note one at a time, guys, because If you tell me what, like, this is an X chord, like, I'll be like, what? Okay. So, gosh, this is so difficult. This is difficult. That's not right. That's not right. Da, 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 da. That's right. That's not right. 0.5 speed. That's not right. Da, da. Where is it? It definitely jumps up here. Can't play that on alto sax. Lovely. Can't play that on alto sax. Time to switch these parts the F up. Okay, so swap a clip. Oh, no, don't want to do that. Copy. Swap with clipboard. Paste. Okay. And then drag this down. Yes. Okay, so I don't know how high a tenor sax can go natively, and I suspect that E is going to sound fairly gross unless I get someone who's really good at it. I know alto without any altissimo or anything can go up to the high F, which is why that high note there for alto was like, nope, not happening. If I raise this up, that G is going to be too high without altissimo. I believe that E is probably going to be okay for tenor. Let me just confirm something. When does altissimo begin for tenor sax? Oh, tenor sax, high F sharp. Okay, awesome. So this E here, E5, is gonna be fine, right? It's gonna be fine. Okay, so I mean E would be fine for alto, but I don't know. Okay, so okay, good. Now I got all these double flats and junk. And I would rather have a natural that's wrong than a double flat. Sorry. Let's make that even slower, like a 20. Just drag that note all the way out. Awesome. Okay, so then this is going to be like, I wrote notes for myself, like B, but with drums and stuff. And then I misspelled stuff. Let me get rid of this stuff. Okay. Well's comment. All your stories meant to be truly happening in the canon Kirby world. They're only stories. Okay, so I try to keep they're not Kirby's canon. How do I put this? Okay, the program deleting is MuseScore. It is completely free. And you can then export to MP3, you can export to MIDI, and then you can export that MIDI into, you can use that MIDI in other things. You can upload files. There's musescore.com has lots of other people's sheet music that they've done. It's really fantastic, and it's completely free. So definitely check it out. Let me answer this question. Are your stories meant to be truly happening in the Kirby canon world? Canon Kirby world, or are they only stories you'd like to invent being inspired by the Kirby series? Okay, so I believe, let me think about this. My Haltman story could be 100% canon. It is just a dramatization of events that actually have described as happening. My Moonstruck Blossom, Taranza, and Sectonia, that is probably a good 90% canon. They don't go into a lot of Taranza's motivations, but I'm pretty sure that that could be pretty canon. My DDD cover, DDD's motivations aren't really described that much, so it's plausible canon, 70% or whatever. My Green Greens Grassland cover, it's completely speculation about Kirby, so there's no way that Nintendo would actively admit that Kirby was a science experiment designed to implement eldritch abomination horrors. Therefore, that is not canon. Let me type this in. Yes, it is MuseScore. It is MuseScore. And then my 02 cover, unfortunately, they gave no lore and no backstory to 02 and the Dark Matter trilogy. So there's no possible way to do something that's within canon because there really isn't anything that's canon. So it's really inspired by my factory investigations linking Haltman back to Kirby 64. I think they're good fan theories for it, but it's not canon either. And then this will be not canon because, again, I don't think Drawcia's motivations are described. And I'm trying to humanize all the characters, give them better motivations for being bad guys than they got in the games. I think that they're doing a lot better of giving better motivations, but some of the older games didn't really have that. So, yeah. So Kirby's origins, like he blew into Dreamland on a spring breeze. Like, yeah, you can't really work with that. the cartoon cartoon has a little bit of a different story, and so people are like, oh, the cartoon's just not canon. But there's some fun things you can do with that. Uh and yeah, to answer your question, I am trying to make the canon that I wish they had in the series. Like if HAL Laboratories and Nintendo wanted to go fully in depth of like making this is like the serious, serious Kirby game, like that's the canon they would use. Anyways, uh yeah, yeah. So I try to pick from the anime if it suits me, but I am not really sticking. I mean, like if it bleeds into like okay, whatever, but it's not a huge deal. It's just take liberally from any source and build them together. Okay, so anyways, what I have here is just this first part. Now, what I need to do from here, and this is like going to be the worst, my least favorite part, is make drums that do. If you know any people who do drums and would like to program this for me so that I don't have to program these drums, that would be greatly appreciated because I am not a fan of doing these drums. I could probably write that out. I'm just not liking the prospect of having to do it. When you slow it down, it's not too bad. Okay, so let me then really cheat. Unfortunately, like you can do repeats and things like that in MuseScore. Like if I wanted to, I could bring in lines and I could bring in bar lines and I could bring in like repeats. Unfortunately, when you do a repeat, it has to be exactly the same as what you had the section before. So you can't like have play only second time. You can have play second time endings. But when I'm exporting this MIDI to go into Reaper, will this piece be available? So what I do is I do cover stories of all of these. And so I write the sheet music, then I record all the parts, and then I upload them as a cover story. So if you aren't already familiar, I have a playlist on my channel. Let me just kind of go to my channel in case you're not familiar. And I should already have a playlist dedicated to Kirby covers and arrangements. And so I've done this process for all of these different Kirby songs. And some point, this is going to be a quartet. So I'm going to be working with at least 3 other sax players, unless someone can play more than one instrument. And that's going to delay when I can actually do this. But essentially, when I finish this, I'm going to try to collaborate with 3 other sax players, soprano sax player, tenor sax player, and a bass player to get these parts. Then I will mix them all together. And then the full story and cover should be available some point in the future. Probably won't be next week because I don't think I can get all the parts out and back within a week. But yes, so there will be a YouTube video that has the final part. And in the description, I'll probably link to this sheet music. Of course, the sheet music is not going to be perfect. It's going to be like written for me. And so this is not great notation from a writing perspective. One thing I will say about MuseScore is you can upload music to musescore.com. Let me just kind of show you that. Like for example, my Noble Haltman sheet music is available. The thing is, because I have the free version, I didn't go pro. It only shows my top, I want to say 5 sheet musics. And then if I upload, it says 5 scores. And what happens is when I upload a new one, it hides the next to last one. Yeah, I did enter Insane in the Rain's contest. So my Moonstruck Blossom got like 3rd place or something like that in it. And so that's like, I don't typically do jazz. And then I decided I'm going to do jazz for this contest. And I tried really hard and apparently it was good enough to like get runner up. So yeah, you probably signed up because my triple deluxe Moonstruck Blossom was in the winners playlist or something like that. So that would make sense that if you signed up from there. Let me get back to this. So what I'll do is as much as everyone would probably like to see me do drums for 2+ hours, I probably will not do that. I'll probably end this stream relatively soon. What I wanted to show is I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this entire part and then paste. That's done. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is going to do add, go to instruments, and then go ahead and add. Oops, where are my drums? Oh, I have all instruments on. I only want to do common instruments, and then do drum set. And then I'm going to add also bass. And this is not actually going to be a plucked bass, but I always write it as if it's plucked bass. It's going to be synth bass, and it's going to be pretty sweet. Okay, so I'm going to add that in. It's only going to come in during the second part, and it's going to be really funky, really awesome. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me go ahead and save this, save early, save often, guys. And thank you so much for joining and watching this. I'm going to probably sign off now, and see you guys next time. Bye.